Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurkan here, coming at you with another Anthem video, and today I'm here to give you just a little taste of how thick the thick boy can get. However, before we begin, I'd like to announce the winners of the giveaway in my previous video in partnership with NVIDIA and EA. And the winners are Matthew James, who already has his origin code, and Sage M, who still needs to accept my friend request on Discord so that I can send you your code, dude. Anyway, in the last video, I used the RTX 2060 to record at 1440p, but some of you guys said you'd rather get the 60 FPS instead. So today I went 1080p to get those 60 FPS, and I cranked all of the settings of the game up to max for like maximum visual quality, and to change the scenery a little bit. Instead of being in the outdoors in Anthem, we're gonna go down deep into the Scar Temple, where you guys will see just how tanky the Colossus can get. Now, this isn't even the maximum of tankiness, because I'm still missing a couple of masterworks that I want to get and that I want to experiment with. This is just, let's just say, a good half step in the direction that I want to go with my Colossus to just become the ultimate tanking machine. And you guys will see from the gameplay that I will put in the background that there are situations where I'm just taking fire from all directions, and I just instantly plop out a missile, boom, get some health back, kill a couple of dudes in melee, boom, get some more health back, and it is insane. I'm loving this, and this is something that you guys can look forward to if you want to use a beefy Colossus to tank for your friends. So anyway, let me just show you guys the build here real quick with all of the weapons and all of the things that I'm using in the footage that you guys are watching right now. We're going to be starting with the weapons. Personally, I like to have a fast-firing weapon in my loadout because that's kind of my jam. I would rather have some kind of masterwork autocannon, something of that nature, but up until this point, this is the best that I've got on PC. It's Rallner's Blaze, and it's got the added bonus of actually igniting the targets once you hit them 5 times in a row. Now, yes, this does prime your targets, which is weird because I seem to remember the developers saying they didn't want weapons to prime targets. They wanted that to be more about gear, but looks like they turned that around, at least with this particular weapon. You can most definitely prime targets for detonation, and it is pretty damn sweet because it also allows me to detonate my right side ability a little bit more, and you guys will see what that's about because it's pretty damn good. Anyway, then we have the Truth of Tarsus. Now, I got to tell you guys, as you start heading into Grandmaster difficulty, this is hands down one of the weapons that you're going to want to get. This or a really good sniper rifle. I'm not even that much of a sniper guy, but just the sheer amount of damage you can output with something like this cannot be ignored. Like, particularly once you start getting high up in GM2 and GM3, I think that a good sniper rifle is pretty much going to be a must-have on most people's loadouts to actually dish out that deep. So I'm using Truth of Tarsus, but the weapons are not the most important part of this build, so let's actually get down to brass tacks. The most important thing in this build, at least in my opinion, is the best defense. This thing is so good. So this is a detonator, and the combo effect is explosive, but the special perk is hitting an enemy with a rocket restores 35% armor. Now, armor is essentially your health in Anthem, so therefore this almost gives you life leech. It's not really life leech because it just restores 35% of your health every time you hit an enemy. And this thing does AoE, therefore if you hit more than one enemy, you know, you get more health. So yes, you can pretty much heal yourself to full using this weapon if you hit like 3 enemies. So yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty friggin' good. This is like hands down, if you're a Colossus main, like this is definitely one of the things that you want to be looking out for. Anyway, on support gear, I use Battle Cry. I like to taunt a lot to draw aggro for my friends, but you can also use Shield Pulse. That's going to be completely up to personal playstyle. Then in the Ordnance Launcher, personally, I go with the Rubidium Furnace. This is just so satisfying. Now, the Masterwork perk on this is that if you set 2 enemies on fire, it is going to automatically refill a charge. And you know, if you get 2 enemies on fire and then you shoot your best defense, you're going to get yourself a very nice health boost. So not only you're dealing massive amounts of damage, you're also getting a lot of health back, and you can basically fire this thing twice in a row pretty much. And even on bosses, this is good even on bosses, because certain bosses, their hitbox just allows you to fire this thing off twice. Like, I've been in the Tyrant Mine and I fired it off twice, and he stays in there long enough that this actually recharges and you fire it off twice again. It is ridiculous the amount of DPS you can actually put out with this thing if the bosses don't move around too much. Like, trust me, even in the last boss of the game, I've been able to get him to take some damage off of this. Now, not everything is susceptible to this, but if you have an interceptor friend like me, your interceptor friend can debuff the targets to take more damage, and you can still set targets ablaze. This even includes Titans. You can actually deal fire damage to Titans if you have an interceptor friend. So, you know, good stuff. Now, let's talk about components. What do we got right here? Catalytic Overdrive. Detonating a combo increases ability damage by 40%. So this actually increases the fire damage on, or at least it should increase the fire damage on the Firewall Mortar, which is pretty damn good. Then we got Emblem of Destruction. This one is not super important. I just have this because right now I don't have anything better. But basically it increases all your blast damage by 15%. So that is the damage of your best defense, for instance, which is that missile that heals you back up. It will deal more damage. But, you know, if you pop up your ultimate and you kill a bunch of critters, you're going to be able to fire your ultimate more than 3 times, which is also pretty cool when you have a big spawn of a ton of ads. You can just like kill all of them and keep firing this thing for a good long while. Then we got Demolition Tribute. This one is also extremely important because, yes, it increases the Colossus shield damage while sprinting, which is really good. You'll see me use that quite a bit, even though I think that on GM2, it's definitely not going to be as reliable in terms of damage. But defeating an enemy with melee instantly grants 20% armor. So basically that means if you fire that missile off, you get armor. If you kill enemies with melee, you get armor. And if you've played a Colossus, you know that you're gonna be killing enemies with melee. Anyway, then we also have Ablative Shielding, which basically increases your armor and shields by a lot. And when your shield breaks, you increase damage resistance for 25%, which is pretty damn good during 5 seconds. And that is important because you guys know when your shield breaks as a Colossus, it usually means you're about to die. Not with this build though, because you're going to have tons of health and you're going to have a lot of other options to stay alive. Then we got Synchronized Frame, increases heavy assault launcher damage by 5%, and defeating an enemy increases your RB damage by 60%. So the more people you kill, the more damage that missile of yours is going to do. And all of this stuff stacks up with the rest of your abilities. So like Catalytic Overdrive, you detonate yourself a combo, like you detonate a combo with melee, and you know, you kill an enemy and then you pop that thing. It is insane. And then we also have the Shock Treatment, which increases Ordnance Launcher by 5%, and hitting enemies with your LB ability increases heat dissipation by 30% for 5 seconds, which you guys know that is also important because sometimes you'll be stuck next to those Scar Heavies that are basically burning you down and keeping you grounded, preventing you from flying. So, you know, being able to hit with your mortar will increase your cooling, and therefore you can fly back up. Now, this build, in my opinion, is just so satisfying. You guys know there's the whole flamethrower lightning coil build that everybody's doing on the Colossus. That's fine and dandy. This one, in my opinion, way, way better. And I want to try a couple of more different things to come up with more options for the Colossus. This one is just potentially one of the tankiest ones, and it is one that, for me personally, is particularly satisfying to pull off. And it just really, really reinforces that that play style that I have of being the tank, of being in the front lines, and just like soaking up all the damage and healing myself back up with the assault launcher. It's been insane. I really, really like this build. Like I said, there's a couple of more things that I want to get. Like even on the PS4, I have a couple of different parts that already make this build even better. So it's been pretty freaking insane. And yes, I am playing it on both platforms. Call me an idiot, that's fine. Either way, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit it up with a like. Leave me your comments and feedback in the comment section down below. If you guys want to be notified of future videos, remember, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.